Hey everyone, welcome to the online meetup for, well, I'm not sure where you found us. We have a couple of meetup groups, the Wellness Experience and Healthy Living Practitioners. And within both of these groups, we have this twice a month a meetup meeting online where we are calling it the Happy, Healthy, Thriving. And we just launched it this month. We are hoping you're watching this video because you could see we don't have a whole lot of people on this call. And what we want to do is we want to get an awful lot of people involved in this online meetup and connecting with people across the country. And so please join us on a future one. I'm happy to share this recording with you. We're not going to be recording every single one of them. But what we're doing is a couple of things. First of all, I want it to be a true meetup and a networking event. So when you come to it, you'll have an opportunity to go over to the chat box and put your contact information in there, tell a little bit about who you are and what you're doing. If we have a small group, we'll be able to introduce each other or to ourselves to each other. But if we have a really large group, which is our intent, that we'll have all that contact information over in the chat box. So we invite you to come to our next meetups. We meet on the first and third Tuesdays of the month at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. So since we're nationwide, you got to calculate it for yourself as to what time zone you're in and make sure that you're here at the right time. So we're also going to do something that I think is fantastic, and that is provide health and wellness education. So this meetup group is for the general public, and we are inviting network providers from You Define Wellness, which is my company, to come in and share their expertise, but also their personal experiences. And so since we have a really small group today, we're going to just jump into that segment of what we're doing. And we're going to do something a little bit different today also, is that we do have a video to show you because we had wanted to have another guest come in, someone who was instrumental in the story that Linda's going to be telling you about. And she was unable to attend, but she shared a video and I watched it yesterday. And I got to tell you, number one, it scared me. About the things that we are doing in my own home that are environmental toxins, and it motivated me to do some changes. So it was great information, and we're going to share that video with you in a couple of minutes. So it is my pleasure today to introduce you to You Define Wellness Network provider, Linda Carney, and she is with Your Path Forward in Madison, Wisconsin. Linda, thank you for joining me today.
Welcome. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So you are a health and wellness coach, but that's not why we wanted to have your story on this one. You had an interesting journey and experience with environmental toxins that was really pretty serious. Mm-hmm. So I know you've prepared something to share with everyone today, so we're going to do this presentation style. So I am turning it over to you.
Great. Thank you so much. Yes, we're going to talk about environmental toxins today. And as you said, Denise, I do have a personal story.
Okay, you just cut out on us. So can you repeat that part? I'm so
yes. We're going to talk about environmental toxins today, and I do have a personal story regarding them, but I'm not going to tell the whole story because I've got so much information to present. But and can you hear me? I'm getting a little message that my speaker's not working.
Yeah, it was all fuzzy out in that part. So I'm going to say concise.
Okay.
So get as many words in as possible. And and hear them, and then I know that you have some slides that you want to share with us, so that will help explain the story. Unfortunately, one of the downfalls of doing an online meetup is that we have to deal with unstable internet connections. Isn't it funny that that's one of our issues that we have gotten to, or at least we have this technology available.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do have a presentation. Can you hear me at all?
I can hear you now.
Good. Okay. Well, I'm just going to jump into it then before I lose it again. There is a gal her name is Dr. Jill Carnahan, and she has a wealth of information regarding environmental toxins. And I'm just going to read an introduction that she wrote in her ebook called How to Reduce Your Daily Toxin Exposure. She says, there are an estimated 84,000 chemicals in our everyday items, and only 1% of these have been tested for safety. Each day, we are exposed to hundreds of chemicals that slow our bodies down and accumulate over time. It's important to reduce our toxin burden if we want to be healthy and happy for years to come. So that's Dr. Jill Carnahan. Her website is jillcarnahan.com if you want any more information regarding that. So what is a definition of an environmental toxin? An environmental toxin is a disease-causing chemical or endocrine disruptor, both human-made and naturally occurring, that can harm our health by disrupting sensitive biological systems. So to explain that a little bit, when you ingest or absorb a chemical into your body, either through your mouth, through your skin, or whether you inhale it, your body's communication system, the cells in your body communicate with one another. Immediately that goes to work trying to identify what that substance is. So every substance, whether it's natural or otherwise, has a little name tag, so to speak, on it, attached to it, that your immune system will immediately try to read. It'll communicate to your body whether this is a friendly substance or an unfriendly substance, and it will then begin the work of determining what to do with it, where to send it, based on what it sees on that name tag. So with natural or earth or plant-based substances, your immune system can easily identify that, and because your body's also made up of natural substances. So basically, that little name tag is speaking the same language as what your body speaks. So it's easy for it to understand and assimilate that substance. However, when a synthetic or a man-made chemical ingredient is ingested into your body, your cell communication system has to work a little bit harder. That substance's name tag is written in a foreign language, excuse me, so to speak. So it can't immediately identify or read what that substance is. It has to work a little harder to figure it out, what it's there for, what to do with it. And it has to translate it from a different language because it's reading a synthetic man-made substance, which your body's not used to. So that process of your body having to work a little bit harder to translate the language and doing the work to absorb it, break it down, assimilate it, and help your body know how to process it, it causes your immune system to also have to work harder. It's your immune system's job to recognize those foreign substances and attempt to rid you of them. So that process can throw your body into kind of a state of confusion, trying to determine what to do with it. What is this substance? I don't recognize it. It's not speaking my language. Your body can eventually figure it out because your body is amazingly complex and intelligent. Every organ works together to eventually process all those substances, whether natural or man-made. But over time, with prolonged exposure to indoor and outdoor toxins, as well as skin or breathe in, your immune system is required to work way harder than it was ever intended to. You then become vulnerable over time to illness, chronic illness, and diseases.
Can I interject here? Do you mind?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to dummy it down a little bit.
Yeah.
That was really good information. But I think the point that I'm getting from it as somebody hearing all of this is, number one, is that we are exposed to environmental toxins without our knowledge.
Exactly.
Around us, it's not something that you walk into a home and it's got toxic signs on everything. We're incorporating them into our everyday life. And what we don't realize is that, especially over time, as these are building up in our bodies, we don't know there's a chemical warfare going on inside underneath our skin. And that's going to be manifesting into a whole host of illnesses that we are treating those symptoms of, but we're not treating what the problem really is.
Exactly. And the whole thing, like you said, it's cumulative, and it's the process of your immune system trying to deal with this over the course of a long period of time. And unfortunately, by the time you are experiencing the symptoms, that's when your body's finally saying, you know what, I give up. I can't do this anymore.
Right.
And sometimes the damage has already been done. And then you have to begin the long journey, like what I had to do, of figuring out. And it can be kind of a difficult and mysterious thing to figure out.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So what kind of toxins are out there, and where do we find them? There's four main categories that most sources of environmental toxins would fall into. First one is toxic ingredients inside your home, and that would consist of things such as your cleaning products, your hygiene products, like soap, shampoos, hair products, deodorants, your cosmetics, laundry products, your detergent, your dryer sheets, sources of mold inside your home, sources of EMF, which are electromagnetic frequencies, which is actually radiation inside your home. Second category would be toxic ingredients outside your home, pesticides or herbicides, which you might apply to your lawn or your trees or your garden. Sources of environmental mold. Think about when you go outside to your lawn and it's been like a very rainy, damp week, which in Wisconsin it has been. You can walk outside and you might see little mushrooms growing in your little mushroom looking things in your yard. And I actually have them in my yard right now. But what that is, being dispersed into the air from those are mold spores. So that's just another example. And then sources of EMF radiation outdoors, which come from your cell towers, radio towers. We're hearing a lot of talk about 5G rolling in, which I won't even go into that, but it's a very scary thing. Third category, toxic ingredients in your secondary food sources. And just to take a moment to explain what secondary versus primary food is. Secondary food is what you put into your mouth, chew and swallow. Are any other areas of your life, your relationships, your career, anything that affects your life, causes stress perhaps, that affects your body just as much as food does. So toxic ingredients in your secondary food sources, the things that you eat, chew and swallow, put into your mouth, might be hormones, GMOs, preservatives, food dyes, BPAs in packaging. And then the fourth category would be toxicity in your primary food sources, such as your career or your relationships, your home. So basically that would be different things for different people, but anything that would cause a continual or a prolonged level of stress in your life, which also taxes your immune system. Just as a side note, you can tell that my voice is a little hoarse. And I'll tell you honestly, that is due to my diagnosis of mold toxicity. So, I mean, so it's an ongoing thing, and this is one of the ways it's affecting me. So how do we inspect for all these sources, and how do we protect ourselves from them? As far as the indoor toxins go, I would suggest read your labels. Always read your labels. When you go to the store, buy your cleaning products, read the labels. Are there chemicals in them? I'm sure there probably are. And if so, try to be proactive about this. One of the things that I am in the process of doing in my home is to do what I call a ditch and switch, which means try your best to ditch the chemical products and switch over to a natural product. Now, it doesn't have to be an all or nothing thing, because that would be a huge time-consuming and expensive undertaking, but just just start out with something. I mean, something is better than nothing. Um, so any minimizing is better than nothing. What I started with was using a vinegar water solution as my cleaning solution rather than buying, going to the store and buying the Lysol products or whatever they are that you use. I just get a spray bottle. I mix half and half white vinegar water solution, and that's my cleaning solution. And over time, that smell of vinegar, in my mind, I associate that with clean. So I love it. I love the vinegar water solution, and it does just as good a job.
Well,
And you can use.
you made an important point. When we're using the blue cleaning solutions, and you cleaned your house and you're like, oh, it smells so clean. No, it smells like chemicals.
It does, yeah.
But you have associated that with being clean.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. And I would also note that stepping away from the cleaning products, your hygiene products, something to think about that just kind of smacked me upside the head maybe 6 months ago or so was that consider your deodorants. Your deodorant has aluminum in it, which is a chemical. And where do you put your deodorant? You put it under your arms, and what's right underneath the skin in your armpits? It's your lymph glands, which taps into your whole lymphatic system. So what you're doing when you put your deodorant on every day, sometimes some people put it on a couple of times a day during the summer, you're applying aluminum, a chemical that will absorb through your skin directly and go directly into your lymphatic system, which is going to disperse it through your whole body. So I recently, maybe a few months ago, I switched over to a natural deodorant, and it works just as well. I might have to apply it a little bit more often than the Dove product that I used before. But I know now putting a toxic ingredient into my body, and 5 or 10 years down the road, I know that my deodorant is not going to perhaps cause me to have cancer or whatever. So this is just little things that you can do. As I said, it doesn't have to be an all or nothing, but try to be proactive in, something. Just start somewhere. Products that you apply to your skin is the largest organ in your body, and anything that you apply to your skin is going to absorb into your bloodstream. So what Jill Carnahan says on her website is, don't put anything on your skin that you wouldn't put in your mouth. And again, that's kind of like, that would be a huge undertaking, but it's something to think about, in some place to start.
When it's time to replace something, phase one out, bring in something that's healthier, because, you're right. I bet if we went around our house and wrote down every single thing as we're using it, the deodorant, the shampoo, the conditioner, the shaving cream for, the legs in the shower, and if we did that in the course of a day, we'd be very shocked at the amount of chemicals that we are putting in our body that we're not paying attention to. Lipstick, makeup, mascara, all of that.
All of that, yeah. And honestly, I'm not there yet. I still use lipstick and mascara, but, a little bit at a time. Maybe a couple months down the road, I'll, something will hit me and I'll decide to add one more thing to ditch and switch. But as I said, be proactive, and something is better than nothing. So let's see, let's move on to outdoor toxins. I don't have a lot of I would say
I'm sorry, all of that cut out.
Okay, I was going to move on to outdoor toxins, and I really don't have a lot of information regarding that.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is so funny, because you'll say, I don't have a whole lot of information about outdoor toxins, and then you go into it, and every time you go into it, it cuts out.
Oh dear. Okay. Well,
with these test cases that we're doing here, and I guess it's a good thing we don't have a ton of people on it.
Yeah.
Wisconsin folks, but
Yeah.
yeah.
What can you do? Okay. Maybe it's not recognizing my hoarse voice. I don't know.
It could be that it's not picking it up. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. But anyway, in terms of outdoor toxins, it's the same deal. Just try to avoid chemicals where you can, when you can. Also, well, I would suggest if you have to pick something outdoors, avoid the chemicals on your garden, your vegetable garden. If you know those are things that you're going to grow, harvest, and put into your mouth, chew and swallow. So you know, if you have to pick one thing, I would pick your garden.
Well, and that's a double whammy because you're getting exposed to it as you are putting it on the plants in the garden. You're getting
Yes,
exposed to it when you're putting it in your body.
exactly. Yep, that's a good point. Very good. Yep. So then I would move on to toxic ingredients in your secondary food, what you eat, what you drink. Again, I would say read your labels when you go to the grocery store. I have just a few general guidelines that I would say. If you can't pronounce it, don't eat it, don't buy it. If that label has more than 5 ingredients listed, do your best to stay away from it. If that label has a lot of words that end in OSE, it's probably not good for you. Though that OSE on the end of those words means sugar and added sugar. Sugar causes inflammation in your body, and inflammation triggers an immune response in your body. And your body,
Cancer
yeah,
feeds on sugar.
it does, yeah. Your immune system doesn't need any more triggers. So where you can, do what you can to minimize that. Food toxicity generally falls into 3 categories. Food additives, which are like preservatives, artificial sweeteners, and artificial colors. So those are 3 things to watch for on those labels. Shop in the perimeter of your grocery store. The center of the store contains packages, cans, boxes, and bags. Natural and healthy sources of food are packaged in peels, skins, and other coverings that you can put back into the environment when you're through with it, those skins and those peels, through
Compost.
Yes, yes. Another thing to consider is, do you buy organic or not? I would suggest that you consider what is called the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. And I do have a couple of slides if you would like to look at those.
Sure.
First one I'll show you is the Dirty Dozen, and that is the 12. Every year, the Environmental Working Group puts out an updated list of foods that really should be bought organically because they are the highest risk of contaminants. And they also put out a list of the Clean 15, which if you can't afford to buy organic everything, these Clean 15 might be safer to not buy organic. So I'll show you the Dirty Dozen first. If I can find it. Okay, here we go. Can you see it?
Nope, you got to hit the share button. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Okay, got it? Yeah. So strawberries, spinach, kale, nectarines, apples, grapes, peaches, cherries, pears, tomatoes, celery, and potatoes. These are the 12 items that it would be suggested that you do buy organically if you can. And if the common thing that you see in most of these is that they don't have a peel or a skin that you take off before you eat it. So you will bite right through the skin of it and eat the whole product. So if there's anything like a pesticide or bacteria on that product, you're going to eat that with it. So those are the 12 things that they would suggest buying organically. And then we will go to the Clean 15. Can you see the Clean 15?
Yes, I can.
Good. Avocados, sweet corn, pineapples, sweet peas, onions, papaya, eggplant, asparagus, kiwi, cabbage, cauliflower, cantaloupe, broccoli, mushrooms, honeydew. One of the common denominators in these products would be that they do have, most of them have a covering, like a peel or a skin that you remove before you eat it. So that automatically takes some of that risk of the contaminants or the pesticides or the bacteria away, because you'll remove some of that before you eat it. The one thing I would caution you, if you buy these, I would still wash it before you eat it or before you cut into it, because if you don't wash it or, before you do that and you cut into that product, that knife cutting, the process of the knife cutting through the skin or the peel will carry any bacteria or toxin right down into the fruit that you're going to be eating. So I would suggest that you clean everything before you eat it, even if it's on this Clean 15 list.
Yeah. So these you don't have to buy organic.
Not necessarily. I mean, I think it's always best to buy organic in, whatever, but that's also expensive. So if you need to choose, I would choose to buy organic on the Dirty Dozen. And if you need to buy, just regular from the non-organic section.
Okay.
Yeah. So then, again, I would suggest that you wash your produce before you eat it, and you don't have to spend money on those already prepared solutions. They're expensive. What I do at home is I mix cold water with vinegar and just a little bit of salt, put it in a spray bottle, put your produce in a colander, and just spray it before you eat it. Yeah, so that's a little DIY tip. Then I would go on to the toxic ingredients in your primary food sources, which are the different areas of your life that might cause toxicity in your life, stress in your life, tension, which is a trigger for your immune system, again. So I would consider the circle of life. I've seen this probably many times when I've shared this, but I'll share it once again. Just so you can take a look at the different areas of your life that might be causing you some stress and triggering your immune system and causing toxicity in your life. Your finances, your career, your physical activity. A big one is your home environment, your relationships. So these are areas for you to just begin taking a look at. And then, take a look in terms of your own life. Are any areas of these causing you continual or prolonged stress? And then remember that stress triggers your immune system, a response from your immune system. Then think about what would I need to reduce the stress in one or more of these areas, and pick one of those areas and try to set yourself just a mini goal, a baby step. What can I do, one little thing today, that area of my life? For instance, can you take like 10 minutes, 5 minutes today or tonight to declutter your kitchen or your closet or a drawer in your kitchen? That's just being proactive with one little thing, because clutter in your home can sometimes lead to clutter in your mind. Clutter in your mind is going to, etc. So another thing you can
interject here. Okay.
Yeah.
So I got to tell you, years ago, the business that I had at the time, we would meet with small business entrepreneurs. There were 6 or 8 of us. It was kind of like what is today known as a mastermind group, but just for strategizing and helping them get over that hump. And I had somebody at one of the meetings who was just frozen, absolutely frozen. She could not move forward in the next step. She'd had a successful business. It had plateaued. you know, there's just so much going on in our life. And I finally said, okay, I've got a homework assignment for you. I said, you know, do you have a junk drawer? Okay, everybody has a junk drawer. And I said, I want you to go home and I want you to clean out that junk drawer. And I want you to throw out that which is no longer necessary in your life. And I want you to organize that which is and put it back into the junk drawer. And when we got back together the next time, she was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe how it made things flow. And all of a sudden I got answers for the things that I was stuck on. And so thank you for mentioning that. It is an excellent exercise. I thought I came up with it all by myself. But it is an excellent exercise. And for those of you who are watching this video, it's a fantastic tip. And you think it may be crazy, but when I said you throw out that which you no longer need in your life, that no longer serves you, it's just metaphorical for that big thing that is the stumbling block. And I apologize, my dog is barking. But then when you're putting everything back into it, suddenly things start to fall into place. Mm-hmm. And it will help you get unstuck. And if doing the drawer doesn't work, go to the linen closet, and then, you know, keep working on it. Before you know it, you're going to have a really clean house too. But it's a great exercise. So thank you for saying that. I forgot about that completely.
Yeah, it's a great place to start, like you said. Yep. Another thing in terms of home environment, a really nice little thing to do is
you just cut out.
Okay, repeat. Can you hear me?
I can hear you at the moment.
Okay, another thing you can do, just a tiny little thing, is to go to the garden store and buy a house plant. Put a house plant in your bedroom, or put a house plant in your family room, because house plants will purify the air in your home. That is a perfect way to begin to take out some of the carbon dioxide in the air in your home. And what plants do is transform that carbon dioxide into fresh oxygen for you to breathe. So, you know, that's a real easy way. Buy a house plant for each room in your home, and they look pretty, so it's going to make you feel good too.
Yeah, the bad thing is that my house is a hospice for plants. That's what
mine is too.
Yeah. So you're gonna have a low maintenance plant to make it work.
Yeah, that works. So my last tip about home environment would be to think about what I call the 6 pillars of health. These are essential, non-negotiable things for good health, and they're very simple things. Number 1, rest. Number 2, fresh air. Number 3, sunshine, which gives you vitamin D. Number 4, intentional movement, otherwise known as exercise. Number 5, healthy nutrition. And number 6, hydration, water. Mm-hmm. So how can you increase these things in your home environment? Rest. Create a relaxing environment in your bedroom. Turn down the thermostat at night. Turn off electronics at night. Fresh air, how do we get that? Open your windows, even just a crack. Even in the wintertime, crack your window open just for a little bit to get some fresh air in there. Sunshine, make sure you have your curtains or blinds open for a period of time every day, and sit in the sunshine when you can. Your body needs that vitamin D. Intentional movement, otherwise known as exercise. Put your alarm clock on the other side of the bedroom so you can't hit the snooze. Get up and stretch or walk at least once an hour. Those are just some little things. Just get your body moving. Even if you can't do a formal exercise routine, there's little things that you can do. Take the stairs, yeah. Healthy nutrition, do your best to increase fruit and veggies in your diet, whole foods, and just think about adding 1 more serving per day. Start somewhere. Hydration, try getting 1 glass of water first thing every day, before your coffee, before your breakfast. Get 1 glass of water. Most of us take a shower in the morning to clean the outside of our bodies. 1 glass of water, maybe with a little fresh lemon juice in it, is your shower for the inside of your body every morning.
Interesting.
Yeah. So those are my home environment tips. we've talked about the toxins, and the thing is that we can't mental toxins, they're there.
Yeah.
We can do our best to minimize them, but we can't avoid them all. So how does one eliminate toxins from your body after they're already there? I've got mold residing in my body right now,
Mm.
and I'm in the process of trying to treat that, detox it. So even when you do your best to minimize the toxins, sometimes you need to be proactive about detoxing the ones that are already there. How can you do this?
Mm-hmm.
You support your immune system, again, by getting plenty of sleep. If you need supplementation, check with your healthcare provider for sure. Some natural ways to boost your immune system are to boost your vitamin C and your vitamin D3 intake. Elderberry syrup, or I think they have elderberry capsules as well, is a great immune support, especially during cold and flu season, which is around the corner, unfortunately. Elderberry syrup is good in a preventative sense. During cold and flu season, you can take it once a day for immune boosting. And in an acute sense, if you get a cold or a flu, you can take it 4 times a day, and it will shorten the duration of that virus.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, be mindful of your oral health. A healthy mouth is a healthy body, and there is a systemic connection now.
What was that last part? There was a systemic connection.
There's yeah, between oral health and your overall body health. Yeah. Another thing, keep your lymphatic system healthy. Again, well, like we talked about, avoid commercial deodorants if you can. Opt for a natural alternative without baking soda if you can find one. Baking soda can be an irritant to your skin. Lymphatic massage is a great thing to do. I do it once a day. I take a little coconut oil and I put a drop of tea tree essential oil in it. I massage the glands in my neck for about a minute, and I also circularly massage under my arms every day. Support your liver, which works hard every day to eliminate toxins from your body. Be reasonable with your alcohol intake, and one supplement that's great for supporting your liver is milk thistle, but again, check with your healthcare provider. I was told by my healthcare provider that the only way that your body can rid itself of toxins is through your stool, your urine, or your sweat. Gross to talk about, but it's true. So do your best to make sure that all 3 of those systems are working properly. Increase your water and your fiber intake. Exercise regularly if you can, and if you can't, consider using an infrared sauna, which will, without having to exercise, it will promote the sweating in a healthy way to eliminate toxins. So that's my portion of this. Now, Denise, we have Martine Davis. Our,
I'm gonna do a timeout. First of all, her video is 12 minutes long.
Yep.
So we're going to go over. And I think that you've had so much good information, and some of what she has in her video is going to be a replication of it. So here's what I'm going to suggest. Are you available to come back on October 3rd?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure, absolutely.
Let's continue this, because I'm seeing you had a ton of information and ideas and suggestions. And since we're just really kicking off this meetup group of happy, healthy, thriving,
yeah,
this really flows into it in changing our environment and the things that we are doing in our lives and how to integrate that in. And I'm seeing the purpose of this meetup group now really starting to unfold.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm thinking that I'd like to do is continue this on October 3rd.
Okay.
We'll show her video, but I'd like to have an open discussion, really focusing on an open discussion with those who can get on the call to talk about, maybe focus on one aspect of it. What can you do with your diet? What can you do with your home products, as opposed to all of it at one time?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll kind of play with how this is going to evolve, but I can see that this could be really, really good. And it's also way too overwhelming of like, oh my God, I got to do all these different things. No, you don't got to do anything.
Right.
But that we can help guide people to making those changes in their lives. Mm-hmm. And the other component about it that I really want to bring into it is that, I have a couple hundred health and wellness professionals in our network who so many of them have gone through this. And we started talking about mold, and we never really got into what your health aspects of it were. And there's some of that on the video as to what comes out. So I want to continue moving it forward. But I want to make sure that I invite some of those network providers who I know have been suffering recently from their environment and they had to move.
Yes.
And see if we can get them to join in and talk about their experiences, their remedies, what they learned, what they discovered. I mean, these are health and wellness professionals. For those watching this video, these are health and wellness professionals that, you know what, they know their stuff. They've had a great deal of experience and knowledge and training and everything else about their superpowers of what they do in the healing world, but they still got impacted by it severely, hospitalized, just so sick they couldn't even function. And so I think it's really important to bring in these people and say, hey, if it can happen to them, it can happen to you, and don't be blindsided when it does. And if you've been sick for a long time and you don't know what it is, it may be your environment.
Yes.
So I really think it's an important topic for us to continue talking about.
I think that's great. Yeah, because in terms of the mold, the EMF exposure plays right into that too.
Yeah. And I think EMF isn't talked about enough.
Right.
And I think that there's a lot of people who don't understand. I was at my daughter's school a week ago and with some other parents doing some volunteer stuff, and I saw one of the ladies slip her cell phone into her bra because she didn't have any pockets. Oh my gosh. That's one of the worst things that you can do. Well, we need to talk about the why and educating so that, if nothing else, raise the vibration of awareness with all of these things. And maybe Martine would be available to even come on October 3rd.
That's what I was thinking too. I think that's great.
Yeah. So let's do that. I want to do she has a great video. We've got to show it. But I want to do justice to her. And you had already given us so much great information. Let's just temper what we can absorb today.
Yeah, I love that idea. That's great.
Yeah, awesome. And I see Michelle Jolly has joined us. Thank you very much. I know you were on at the very beginning. I didn't get to greet you. And for those watching this video, these are a couple of the new Wisconsin Unifying Wellness Network providers. And I'm just really excited to have you be a part of what it is that we're building and growing. And so that's really exciting. Any questions? Michelle, do you have any thoughts or anything you want to add to it?
Not really. It's a lot of great information. I've tried to do a lot of those things in my life. And slowly, it's not something you can do overnight and just get it all cleaned out. Just kind of chipping away at it slowly. And then, the dirty dozen thing, if you are short on money, that's a way to cut. But I just like supporting organic farmers and just supporting that mission. So besides being healthy, it's good for the environment too.
Yeah. And I could see this meetup group becoming really support for those who are on a mission to have happy, healthy, thriving lives. And I know I went through a period of time where I joined an MLM that sold healthier cleaning products. And I just thought it was a great integration to it. And I was on the bandwagon. I was all excited. And their products were fabulous. But A, they were expensive. And B, I tried the water and the vinegar, and we didn't like the smell in our home. And so I ended up going back to what was easier for me. And I didn't have, this was before I launched my company, Unifying Wellness, and I didn't have other people in my world doing the same thing. So I was feeling alone. So if nothing else, we can support each other. We can educate, we can learn, and we can make a commitment to each other to start taking one thing out of our lives. Every time we run out of it, replace it with something healthy. Start, carry on your cell phone a picture of the dirty dozen. And the clean 15 and dirty dozen. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
And so it makes it easier when you're shopping at the grocery store, because I'm not good at this stuff, and so I need that cheat sheet. So if we can share these tips with each other as to things that we can be doing, and I think that would be a great use of this meetup platform. But
One other thing on that, I think the Environmental Working Group has an app, like a healthy living app or something, where you can scan in products and then it tells you rates how good or bad.
That's
That's
going to
another
be
thing to do.
to check out and try. I know I'm a creature of habit. Almost everyone is. I'm lazy by nature. A lot of people are. And I'm so busy, which everyone is, that to try to integrate new things in, it's just easier to go the way that we had. But you know, if we had gone the way that we had always, I'd still be drinking Tang in the morning, my carnation instant breakfast, and my Captain Crunch cereal, you know, from as a kid. Okay? So we can evolve. We certainly can. Absolutely. And I know, you know, this is one of the reasons I went au naturel and let the grays shine through, is because of the hair dyes. And really becoming aware of the chemicals I was putting on my head that was getting absorbed into my body. And I just got too lazy to keep coloring it. So, okay, I didn't get too long. I was too busy to get in and get coloring it all the time. No, it was partially lazy. I just didn't want to take the time for it. So I went natural. And it was one of the best things I've ever done, embracing my grays. But, you know, it's the support through all of that.
Yeah, it looks lovely though, Denise. I love your gray. You've got a beautiful shade of gray.
It's more salt and pepper in the front, and it's really dark in the back. So my hairdresser was making comments about that the other day when I was getting it cut. It's not white, and quite frankly, I want it to be white.
Do you? Yeah.
I want to be white at a younger age. I don't want to, you know, but I think I'll get it when I'm 80. And truth be known, in my family, nobody ever turned white.
Oh, yeah.
So I will get what I want. And I don't know what my grandmother did, because she was a redhead to the day she died. So, and she died and told me she was too young to ever be a white-haired old grandma.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Anyways, so ladies, I'm going to just say thank you. Anything else you want to add? I've got a lot of thoughts going through my mind as how we're going to evolve this.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything else right now, but I'm, you know, I like your idea, and I'm excited about expanding on this. Yep.
I am excited, and now I have the focus to really be promoting it. We knew when we put this together that we would find exactly where we were going to go, and now that I think that we found our lane, it's time to really get rocking and get the word out there as to, you know, what all we're doing. It's going to be a great platform for us. And now that we're bringing California on board and a meetup with about 1,100 people in it into our fold, I'm looking forward to that expansion, so that we're going more nationwide each direction.
Yeah,
so
sounds great. I will ask Martine also if she is available on the 3rd of October, because that would be great, because she wanted to join us.
Yeah, I'd love to have her. And if not on that one, because we're going to continue this theme, we can do another one as well. So it doesn't have to be October 3rd. So I'm excited about this. Linda, I appreciate all the work you put into bringing out these ideas. I think that I'm going to go back through this video. I'm going to write down all those really good ideas you had. And if you have any, send them over to me. I think it would be great to start a database of sorts of things that you can be doing in your life and add it to the You Define Wellness website. So that it becomes truly the resource for and we'll put it on our resource library, the Healthy Living Library on You Define Wellness website, so that people can use it as a resource and we can continue adding to it and editing it.
I am going to, in fact, I wanted to have this ready for today, but I ran out of time. But my next little project is an ebook. I'm going to write an ebook, which I want to call something like How to Do Your Personal Environmental Impact Study. So when I get that done, hopefully like within a week or so, if you want to add that, you can do that.
I would welcome that. All kinds of ebooks and things like that. That's what the Healthy Living Library on the You Define Wellness website is all about. And Michelle and I just talked about this, and expanding beyond the 100+ videos that we have on there to actual ebooks and PDFs and documents and things like that we can be adding to be that true resource for the community and the go-to place for people to learn about things.
Yeah, great. Sounds fabulous.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I am too.
Okay. All right, ladies, thank you very much for participating in this. I'm going to end the recording.